Have you ever wanted to drink at a Georgia game legally? You're going to have the chance to here soon. Georgia announced today that they are going to allow alcohol sales for the basketball season coming up, and you can see where this is going. They'll have alcohol for sale soon to the general public for football. Now, when that will be, I don't know. And how this will affect sort of the other sports at Georgia, I would imagine that in the near future you're going to be able to get alcohol at games like baseball and football, and obviously they've already announced men's basketball. So I think this is a logical step forward. You already got, I think, McGill Society people who are folks that give 25,000 over a 5-year period or more. They can drink at games. So here's Georgia says a variety of domestic, import, craft, and premium beer and seltzer will be available at designated concession stands throughout the Coliseum with a strict attention to our drinking responsibly guidelines and fan management protocol. The pilot program will include a focus on promoting the responsible sale, service, and consumption of alcohol. So, where I'm at with this whole thing is, people drink at games right now anyway. This is something that's been common since Georgia's had sporting events. It's not abnormal. Oh, sorry about that. It's not abnormal to have drinking at games. It sounds like that sometimes, but LSU has been doing this for a while. Texas has been doing this for a while. This is a new common thing. I don't know why there's been such a stigma with college sports. I think we've kind of grown past that as a society. People should be drinking responsibly. They shouldn't be drinking like crazy people. Drinking is not an excuse to act crazy or do irresponsible things. I think for Georgia, the big thing is that this is a new revenue stream. It's one they've never captured. And this is going to be an opportunity for, if Georgia can have a sponsor that's alcoholic company, Dos Equis right now, I don't know why they, can't sell alcohol. I mean, Leon Farmer's distribution company has been a huge giver of funds at Georgia forever. Don Liebran's company, Crown, they have been, donated. They've donated forever. So this is not. I mean, this sort of prude notion that alcohol and college athletics can't mix. I don't. It's like I don't know why that was ever a thing. But if you now get to go to the game and have drinks, I think it could be more responsible. People could be more responsible about it. Will people still sneak things in? I'm sure they will. It doesn't say anything about liquor. And I think that's a different ball game. Now, having been around the block a little bit, at other schools at Clemson, South Carolina, in the suites, you can get liquor if you're going to the Chick-fil-A kickoff game or any bowl game. You can get drinks, you can get liquor. People, this is Georgia fans know how to party. They've always known how to party, and it's not abnormal that they would have some drinks at games. That's not exclusive to them. So I think now they have an opportunity, Georgia, to capture this revenue stream, to allow fans to drink responsibly at games. I mean, the vast majority of people who attend these games are over 21. That's just what it is. And being able to drink over 21, that's completely legal. The drinking age maybe should be younger than that, but that's another discussion for another time. But for Georgia, what do you think? I mean, here we are entering the year 2022. You're finally going to be able to purchase, whatever, Bud, Miller, Dos Equis, Modelo, anything that you can kind of get your hands on at these games. Are not going to be glass. They're going to be aluminum. There's a couple other things that Georgia talks about here in these guidelines. Alcoholic beverages are only available for fans aged 21 and above. I don't know why they felt like they had to do that. Each transaction requires a valid government-issued ID. Identification check is required at all points of sale. Enforcement limit of 2 beverages per transaction per person. Sales begin once gates open at Stegman, which is an hour before tip-off time. Sales in at designated times is determined by the SEC game management policy on alcohol sales. So that's different for the women than it is for the men. For the men, that would be 12 minutes to go in the game. For the women, that would be the third quarter. So it says all beverages will be served in cups. So they're going to pour it out, I guess, is what it sounds like. Aramark, which is the food and beverage company at these games, the official concessions partner of the university, will manage and operate all operations associated with the sale of alcohol at events. Aramark employees will go on extensive training, blah, blah, blah. And then each event will have an alcohol compliance supervisor, which I guess is standard for Aramark. They again reiterate that underage drinking is strictly prohibited. I'm not sure why that has to be said as often as it does. Probably because because lawyers are involved. Georgia goes on to say that Georgia will be the 11th Southeastern Conference school to sell alcohol at athletics venues. I know Vanderbilt had beer sales in Nashville earlier this year. I don't know if Auburn did or not, and it makes me kind of wonder who the other three are that are remaining, but everybody's going to do this because it's another revenue stream. I mean, that's what it is. B, there's demand. Okay? And then C, this notion that we can't act properly because there's beer at games. I mean, all you have to do is go to a professional sporting event. There's beer everywhere. You go to NASCAR. There's beer, obviously, at NASCAR that you used to be able to bring beer into the stadium. I think that was the case in Jacksonville, that you could buy beer years and years ago. But it's just what it is. And, it doesn't bother me in the least. I think that it's the smart play for Georgia to try to control what comes into the stadium or what is sold at the stadium. It probably will reduce over time the amount of alcohol that's smuggled in. I know this. When we were at Notre Dame, the Georgia fans, again, they party hard. They're worse in terms of partying than anybody else outside of LSU. And when we went after the Notre Dame game in 2017 up there, we knew that if we walked enough, we would see liquor bottles everywhere. And you did. And that's just what it is. Now, I don't think that we will see a time in the near future where Georgia sells liquor. But we'll see. I don't know. But beer, I think, is a different ball game. And I think at the end of the day, to a lot of me, this is a non-issue. The beer is going to be way too expensive, just like a lot of the stuff at the stadium, although Josh Brooks and company have done a pretty good job of making sure that families can get reasonably priced food. But if you're going to these games, you're going to get killed anyway on that sort of stuff. But I think it's a smart first step, and doing it with basketball at the beginning is smart. But you can see, like this time next year, there's probably going to be beer at Sanford. And I think a lot of people would like that, particularly in the summer when Georgia's playing these early season games. At Sugar Bowls, this has always been there. At kickoff game, Chick-fil-A kickoff game, it's always been there. And it's just, I don't think people view it as a giant vice anymore. What I will be curious to see is that if the Georgia State Legislature passes gambling, is Georgia going to take a slice of that pie? Now, that's a different ballgame there. Because then you could, you can't influence the outcome of a game because, your Uncle Jimmy is having a Dos Equis or something like that. That's not going to affect, or a Modelo, or whoever would like to sponsor these videos in the future. That's not going to affect the game. Betting on campus, I'm not sure we'll ever see that. Tell me what you think down below, and we'll see you over on the website.